Peeps! Universal Orlando Resort's Halloween Horror Nights returns from September 6th through November 2nd, 2019, with 10 haunted houses, 5 scare zones, 2 outrageous shows, and more. Here's our guide to all the houses and details to get you ready for the big event. The Ghostbusters used to be a presence at Universal Studios, but this is the first time that they've been granted a full, dedicated haunted house. As a fan of the franchise, I'm super excited for this house. Sure, a lot of fans are concerned that Ghostbusters isn't scary, but given last year's Poltergeist and Stranger Things were based on properties just as unscary as Ghostbusters and produced amazing houses, I have a lot of faith that the creative team will find a way to bring the scares and fun while also having a lot of fan service. Our hype score? 5 out of 5. Us is an interesting property to translate to a house. At first glance, the property doesn't seem like it would be very interesting, given the nature of the horror movie with a message. However, with a movie that features a creepy funhouse, multiple scary home invasions, and an underworld inhabited by murderous clones, there is the potential to make Us something pretty scary. Our hype score? 3 out of 5. House of a Thousand Corpses, Rob Zombie's first major motion picture, is finally getting its own haunted house at Halloween Horror Nights in Orlando. Sure, Rob Zombie has not only been featured at Halloween Horror Nights previously, but also has done his own haunt event. But with 3 from Hell coming out this year, it's prime time for a House of a Thousand Corpses house. Great imagery from the movie should lend itself to a fantastic house. Our hype score? 4 out of 5. I know a lot of folks are very excited to see the Killer Clowns from Outer Space return after last year's fun scare zone, of which I was a fan. However, I'm not too psyched for this house. Admittedly, I'm not a fan of the movie, and I think the clowns themselves have restrictive costumes that don't lend well to scares, so this house would likely lean heavily on fun and funny, while using sounds and victims to bring the jumps. Our hype score? 2 out of 5. As a fan of both this show and last year's Stranger Things house, I'm excited to see the return to this year's event, especially featuring scenes from both seasons 2 and 3. With demo dogs in the Starcourt Mall, I expect the house to really appeal to fans of the show, and with last year's record-breaking crowds, I'm not surprised to see it return. Our hype score? 3 out of 5. Scary or not, the Universal Classic Monsters deserve a place at Horror Nights, and I am super excited to see them return in one combined house. Universal invented the horror genre with these iconic characters, and always tends to do something a little different with them than just representing them in their classic appearances. Hoping for some amazing facades on this one as well. Our hype score? 5 out of 5. Hard to say on Depths of Fear. Seemingly inspired a bit by the BioShock video game, this house could bring some cool visual effects, or it could be a bust. I do think this will be the wet house of this year's event, with dripping water everywhere. What's going to sell this concept will be amazing creature design and some cool facade work. Our hype score? 1 out of 5. Very excited to see the Nightingales return in Nightingale's Blood Pit. Their original appearance, back in HHN 21, was a fantastic house set in World War I trenches. The new house, set during ancient Rome, should be pretty interesting, with cool costumes and a lot of gore. Our hype score? 3 out of 5. After the fun appearance of last year's Swamp Yeti in Slaughter Cinema, I think a lot of fans were hoping for a full-on Yeti house, and now we have one. I love a good snowy horror experience, so I'm hoping this brings some good scares, some fun, and some blood-soaked snow. Our hype score? 3 out of 5. Graveyard Games seems like it could be a really fun house, and maybe a dark horse contender for House of the Year. With the graveyard theme, lots could be done with theming and special effects. I like the idea of walking around an elaborate graveyard and the horrors we could see. Our hype score? 4 out of 5. Rob Zombie has created some pretty memorable characters, with the Firefly Clan, Dr. Satan, and of course the amazing imagery from his albums and music videos. Should be pretty cool to see how they translate to an outdoor scare zone. Fans who've attended Zombie's own haunt events in the past may have a good idea of what we'll see here. Great timing on Zombieland Double Tap with the new movie coming out, and I for one am super excited for that film. I'm hoping we'll see some fun zombie action, along with some characters and scenes inspired by the movie. I like the idea of a Vikings-themed scare zone. Could see some great facade work here, and it would definitely be something different than we've seen out of Halloween Horror Nights, especially in Central Park. I admit, I have a weakness for plastic surgery gone wrong. It's a concept that really gets under my skin and creeps me out. In the streets of Hollywood, I can imagine this scare zone will give me the creepy crawlies. An arcade sounds like a lot of fun. Taking place in the Avenue of the Stars as you enter the park, neon slashers, 80s inspired arcade creatures, and a laser ceiling? Sign me up. The Academy of Villains return. The awesome dance theatrical group will be returning to the same theater from last year, and though I wasn't a huge fan of last year's show, I do love Academy of Villains, and I'm looking forward to their next performance. I'm very excited for the new Lagoon show, Halloween Marathon of Mayhem. With scenes from Netflix's Stranger Things, Ghostbusters, Universal Monsters, and Killer Clowns from Outer Space, this new show features a blend of fountain-based media, state-of-the-art technologies, and special effects in a new way. Fun food options are visible on this year's park map, including highlights like a Starcourt Mall experience near the Zombieland Scare Zone, and Twisted Taters, Pizza Fries, and S'mores Fries available at or near Kidzone Pizza Company. Merchandise for this year's event is on sale right now at shop.universalorlando.com. This year's merchandise highlights include a strong focus on Stranger Things and Ghostbusters on shirts, posters, mugs, lanyards, and even awesome 80s style glasses. One thing to note is that Ghostbusters is not featured on the house shirt this year. Of course, IOM Geek will be at Halloween Horror Nights this year. Make sure to check out our thoughts, including video and pictures, on our YouTube and on iomgeek.com. Thanks for watching. Please make sure you hit the like, notification, and subscribe buttons down below, and we'll see you in the fog.